Our weekly broadcast of the African Treasures. Here we bring to you African arts, culture, and music. We also discuss issues of concern to people of the African descent in America, the Caribbean, South America, Africa, and all over the world. We invite you to come and see Africa in a positive light. So stay tuned and tell your friends to do the same.
Welcome to another episode of the African Treasures. I'm Dr. Okeke, your host. Last week we started talking about the state of African marriages in America, and we had a married couple that are Muslims to get the Muslim perspective of marriage. And today I have a couple that have the Christian orientation, and we're going to look at marriages from the Christian perspective. And this couple have written a book, Marriage 911. My guests are Dr. James Agazie, who is the author of Marriage 911, and his wife, Dr. Maxine Agazie, who's also the co-author. Welcome to African Treasures.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, last week I had a couple here to help me explore the state of African marriages in America, because we're having problems in our marriages. And we looked at the Muslim perspective of the issue. And today we're doing the part 2 of the state of marriages in the state of African marriages in America. And I want to thank you for coming on this show to explore this issue with me. Coincidentally, you've written a book on Marriage 911, and what I want to do is ask you, why did you write this book? What motivated you to write this book, Dr. James Agazie?
Dr. Okeke, I'm so glad you asked the question. Today in the whole world, about 50% of all marriages fail, about 50%, and that's a big alarm. We are very much alarmed. It's a big problem all over the world. So we're trying to find ways to help people to cope with the problems in marriages.
Okay, well, that's why you wrote the book.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Maxine Agazie, you are the co-author and also married to Dr. James Agazie. Yes. And why did you write this book?
This book really was inspired by God. We've had many couples come to us with marital problems. Daily, we struggle, and God has blessed us to be together for 37 years.
You've been married for 37 years?
37 years,
I was supposed to lay the foundation by asking you that, but I jumped into the issue, but I'm glad you
Yes, and many couples have been coming with problems, and so we prayed and we decided to write this book.
Okay. Now, you said you've been married for 37 years, right?
Yes.
Dr. James Agazie, you are from Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
You're from the village of Osumeyi in Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay. And you've been married to Dr. Maxine Agazie for 37 years, and she's African American, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us how you guys met?
We were both students at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. We were both in the graduate school.
Okay.
And we met in the library where we were studying for our exams. That's how we met. When I met her, I kind of liked her. She was a very nice person, very intelligent, hardworking, beautiful. So
she still is.
We thought about getting married, Yeah.
Okay.
And she's also a Christian.
She's a Christian.
She prays a lot. She go to church.
Right.
And
okay. Well, that's his perspective.
That's his perspective.
How did you guys meet?
Yes, let me tell you how we actually met. He probably forgot.
Romance started in his idea. The romance started in the library.
Well,
where you guys were supposed to be studying, right?
He was on his way coming out of the library. Okay. I was in my way going to the library, and he bumped into me. My books fell, and he said, "Are you a freshman?" And oh my gosh, I said, no, I'm a graduate student. Ooh. How dare you call me a freshman? I picked up his accent and we started to talk.
Okay.
And from there, that's how, and probably about a year later, we were married on the campus of the University of Tennessee in the Westland Chapel.
Okay.
Yes, that was
37 years ago.
June 10th.
and I understand that you have spent some time in Nigeria.
Yes.
Tell me about it. Tell us about it, please. Tell us.
Yes. Nigeria, I think it was the best thing I could have ever done in order to really get to understand his culture. But one thing I found out, you know, I am from America, but I'm from a little village called Branchville, South Carolina.
Okay.
And I was amazed at the similarities in the two cultures.
Okay.
Respect for your husband, certain duties of the wife. Many things were very similar. And that really helped years later as we encounter. But one thing, my parents were reluctant, very reluctant about me marrying someone from Africa and going abroad. His parents are deceased, but family members were also very reluctant and very skeptical, and that's why we pulled together to survive.
Now, you went to, when was your first time of visiting Nigeria?
The first time was probably about a year after we were married. This was right after the Biafra-Nigerian Civil War.
Yes, yes.
Things were very tough. In fact, we had difficulty finding housing. We were robbed by armed robbers, lost everything. I begged them to please let me keep my passport.
How long did you stay in Nigeria?
Oh, about 5 or 6 years.
And which city did you live?
We were in Enugu.
You stationed in Enugu?
Yes, yes. And the timing was right for me. You know, I'm a professional social worker. And I got a job. I came there in September. About a week after I was there, I was working at the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare.
In Enugu?
In Enugu,
wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And but all of that.
I grew up there. That's why I'm...
Oh, I love it.
I grew up in
love
Enugu.
it.
It's a beautiful city.
It. Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to pause for a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the problems that Africans face in their marriages. And I'm happy to have you here because I have a wealth of experience that you're going to help share with our viewing audience. So please don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk with Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Agazie. Stay tuned.
We are bringing the treasures of Africa from all parts of the world straight to you.
The Law Office of Donald P. Edwards is proud to sponsor African Treasures, a program that celebrates the African continent, its people, its music, its past and its future. Wherever we are on the face of the earth, we are an African people.
We are bringing the treasures of Africa from all parts of the world straight to you.
If you just join us, we are talking about the state of African marriages in America, facing a lot of problems. And my guests today have written a book, Marriage 911, Dr. Agazie and Dr. Mrs. Agazie. Welcome again.
Thank you.
So, are you aware of the state of African marriages here in America? Have you been?
Yes.
Do you see
yes,
how?
Yes.
So, what's your take? What's your impression of the marriages?
Yes, it's marriages are under a lot of pressure. Back in Nigeria, and especially years ago, there's a lot of support. You have your extended family. You have someone can help with the children. Mm-hmm. If the wife and husband are both off at work, you have a lot of support. But here in America, we don't have that support. The extended family's not here. Husband and wife working, they are both tired, children, a lot of problems, and then you get the calls from back home to send money. Yeah. And couples are pressurized, many times trying to, quote, keep up with the Joneses, a certain image. And you have all of these things coming at you, myriad problems. Right. And many times this leads to the breakdown of the marriage.
Right. Dr. Agazie?
And also in America, when Nigerian man comes to America with his wife, he's under a lot of pressure. He forgets that this is America, a different culture. He wants his wife to behave like a village woman from Nigeria. And most Nigerian women in America are educated, they have jobs, they want to experience the freedom that America gives them. They want to feel free to pursue their education, to pursue their professions, to go out to the movie, to go to the mall, and to do as they please. But their husbands still insist that the wife must be home at a certain time, that the wife must cook meals. So there's a lot of conflict.
Are you saying, sorry to cut you in, are you saying that the African men come out here, they find it difficult to adjust to the new environment?
Yes.
And I know that a lot of complaint we have from African Americans is that the impression they get from the movies and all this type of thing is that we oppress our women. Mm-hmm. Are you suggesting that?
Yeah.
That we oppress our women?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that most African men are too traditional in their thinking. They're too traditional, and they want the women, their wives, to behave as the women back home. Which is being subservient, being obedient, and doing as the husband wishes. Okay. And that could be a conflict
Okay. So in other words, the African men, when they bring their wives to America,
Right.
and we're talking about people who bring their wives to America or who marry Nigerian women, African women, they expect their women to be subservient,
Yes.
obedient.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And that could be some problem because America.
Is that how we have our women back home?
No, back home in Nigeria.
Do we have our women subservient and obedient? Is that what you're saying?
Most in Nigerian women tend to be less assertive.
Okay, less assertive. Okay.
Less assertive. Yeah.
May I intervene
Please,
in this?
please.
Yes. I think, I think a wife should respect the husband.
Okay.
There should be obedience, respect, and love on both sides.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of role confusion. Back home in Nigeria, again, the woman's role is pretty much carved out, but the support is there.
Yeah.
When we come here, husband and wife both have been working all day.
Yes.
She may have a meeting and may be coming home a little later.
Yeah.
Husband has not started any meal because back home it's the wife's duty to have the meals.
Right.
Or you have someone assisting, like a maid or whatever,
Yeah.
to help, and a baby nurse to help with the
Exactly.
children. And I think it's mainly a matter of ineffective communication. Knowing that we're in a different culture, sitting down, mapping out, planning. Okay,
Right.
I get home at a certain time. Could you do this? But I think I would say respect is a common denominator in
Right.
any marriage.
You know, what my experience here in America is that we deal a lot with cliches. And we try to box things, and we put things in a box and put labels on them. And sometimes we put these labels without actually knowing what they mean. Now, the impression people get here is that African men are controlling.
Yes.
And I'm really, I don't like that word anymore, because some of these people who use the word, if you ask them, well, what do you mean by that? Break it down a little bit. Tell me what you mean. He's controlling by blah, 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 blah. He does blah, blah, blah. Or he expects blah, blah, blah. Or he stops you from doing blah, blah, blah. Tell me what that word controlling means.
I think...
and again, they say, oh, obedient. He wants me to be obedient. What do you mean? He wants you to be subservient. What does that really mean?
Yes,
So,
yes.
Once you're put in this bracket, you're gone.
Exactly.
Once they label you, you're controlling. You want obedience. I never knew obedience is a bad word. I thought the Bible wants us to be obedient.
Exactly.
Obedient to the word of God, obedient to authority. I thought it's a good word. I never knew it was a bad word.
And I think African men, maybe responsibility.
Yeah.
They are highly responsible.
Yeah.
Wanting things in a certain order.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people misunderstand. When I was in Nigeria, and when we got back...
Dr. Gazia, I want you to hold that thought, because I want to listen to that, but we have to take a station break.
Okay.
And please don't go away. Come back and let's see what Dr. Gazia has to say.
For over 10 years now, the Metro Ebony Pages has been the only directory that caters to the minority communities in Metro Atlanta. For businesses trying to reach the minority communities, the Metro Ebony Pages is your vehicle. Individuals and families looking for services within the community, look first in the Ebony Pages. You may reach us at 404-209-8654.
One cannot fall in love with that which they don't know. So remember to tune into African Treasures weekly, and keep in mind, to love Africa is to know Africa.
Welcome to the final segment of this episode, the State of African Marriages in America. And if you missed this show, please log on to our website. It's www.africantreasurestv.com. You have opportunity to view all the shows we've done thus far. And also have a chance to see the African Treasures Youth Forum hosted by Adora Okeke. Again, my guests are Dr. James Agazie and Dr. Mrs. Maxine Agazie. You were saying something before we went on break. Please conclude
yes,
before
just
we get
quickly,
into your book.
when I was in Nigeria and cleaning and sweeping, and he said, is that an American woman doing all this work, walking to work, trekking? We had no car. Is she truly American? So I think sometimes we affix labels and ineffectively and don't quite understand.
Exactly.
But I think there are certain principles that transcend any culture in marriage, and one is respect, obedience, love, and
being a peacemaker.
Peacemaker and effective communicator.
Right. Now, one important thing is role playing. Nobody's a servant to anybody in a marriage. We play roles. There's a role I have to play as a husband, and I expect my wife to play her role. Children have their roles.
Yes.
It doesn't mean I'm controlling. Controlling means I have to control my role, and I expect you to do yours. Now, don't try to change me, and I'm not going to change you. I love you the way you are, and that's why I married you. So you've already been raised. I'm not trying to raise you. Your mom and dad raised you. So we'll have roles to play.
That's right.
So when somebody insists on those role playing, he's labeled controlling. When somebody doesn't want to tolerate mediocrity and nonsense, he's labeled controlling. That's what I've experienced in America.
Yes.
But you just want things to go right.
That's
and
right.
what you bring to the table when we're dating, I also expect you to keep all those things when we are married.
Yes.
Don't attract me with this, and when we are married, you tell me that everything has changed. So without repeating myself too much, Dr. Okeke, please tell us about your book. What is this going to do for a marriage, and why did you write this book? Or well, you told me why you wrote it, but tell me how this is going to help marriages. You Dr. James Okeke, and then I'll come to your wife.
The book is based on what we lived from our experience in our 37 years of marriage. I found that when I obey God and do what's right, my wife will tend to follow. If I don't obey God, if I do the wrong thing, then my marriage will not be effective. So we all have a master we have to follow. The master is God. I follow God. She follows me. Both of us follow God. And everything is
because the Bible says Christ is that we are the head. The man is the head, just like Christ is the head. Well, let me not get into your book. You tell me about your book, please.
Yes. This little red book, Marriage 911, is emphasizing the emergency surrounding marriages. It's short, it's readable, but it's based on biblical principles. There are 26 chapters. And inside, it's easy reading. It looks at various characters in the Bible. For example, we have a chapter on Hannah and Elkanah. Hannah was a woman who prayed. She had obstacles. She was barren, but her husband loved her. But she prayed to God. She was a praying woman. We have chapters looking at Abigail, a peacemaker, looking at Job's wife who gave ungodly advice. And as a wife, we should be a helper to our husbands. We should be intercessors. We should pray for him and pray for our marriage when things are not going well. So throughout the book, you have various characters. Some did the godly things, some ungodly, but we also have quote scriptures to back up everything that we say in here.
I guess it's not possible for us to tell our viewers everything about this book. If they want this book, how can they get it? I know your number and your phone number will be right below your name. And where can they go to buy it? They'll call you.
Yeah, we can get a book from the Amazon.com, from the computer, from the internet.
Yes.
Our book is shown there very clearly. You can go on Amazon.com.
Or they can call you.
Or they can call
Right.
us.
Mm-hmm. So,
in fact, our phone numbers,
yeah,
and it's in the book.
Right. So I hope to. I don't like to cut you off, but we are out of time.
Oh, okay.
So I hope you come back sometime and maybe we'll talk about the effect of the book on your readers. How about that?
That's great.
With that, we're going to bring this episode to conclusion. This is the part 2 of the state of African marriages in America, and please join us again next time. Thanks for allowing us to come into your homes.
Thank you for watching, and please join us again next week at the same time as we continue to share with you the treasures of Africa.